if New
That'd
Zealand
be steak
wins.
and cheese.
So that would be steak and cheese indeed. So but they have the opportunity. They can literally now watch and see. Okay, Restless Black absolutely dominating. Maybe we should take the two Red Devils.
Simplicity going to be the first map, and Chia's taking second, so that's a little bit of a surprise. Steak and cheese just like to try and
Yeah.
mess with what we'd assume to be common convention, don't they?
Yeah, well, there is a case to be made that it is a track that they are better on than Restless Black. Probably on average, it is probably the best average they have against Restless Black. So in some sense, it makes sense. I would think that they would pick Candy Crush here. Actually, to be honest, I think that would be a very much. Oh, they go for Agartha. No, very much. Also, they are quite literally their average is almost the same on Agartha. So quite interesting, and we leave Candy Crush as last. Honestly, pick and ban or the pick phase, I have to give it to Steak and Cheese with the order that it is in, because leaving Candy Crush as last,
If they can get there.
I don't know. It favors Steak and Cheese, to be
Yeah,
honest.
if they can get there. I mean, look, it's always going to favor steak and cheese overall because, as we were discussing, they have the slightly better average at 4 out of the 7, right? So you would think by that logic, no matter what, we would go the distance. But I will be curious to see which track gets broken, if any, or if we do go all the way to Candy Crush. But I don't know. I'm looking at that Chia's pick and I'm nervous. That's the one thing, the one track where I feel like steak and cheese may have made a flub in having that one second instead of sixth. But we'll see when we get into it.
Yeah, we already see in the in-game chat as well. There's some already discussions as well where Planetary Goose and Svet say that if Shears was not banned, it was their go-to pick as well. But Shears saw so many bans that they rarely got to really play it. So that just speaks in volumes. What just a little tweak in the best of fives and best of sevens can make a difference. In you have a map that you rarely get to play because nobody likes it, but now it could be one of the tracks that could lead you to glory and to infinite victory as well. So, but whether it will come into fruition, that will be remain to see, and not quite yet. That will be the track after this one. We will start on Simplicity. We'll start off simple, as the name which is yes. So that is going to be a fun time. And well, as always, between these two teams, may the best team win, or well, I guess better. It's either Australia or New Zealand. Now let's get
A
this show
rivalry
rolling.
as old as the APAC. Also, I'm trying to figure out what Planetary Goose has done with his car right now, because he always has the little goose down in the bottom right, but now it looks like it has like a giant green leak or something coming up the side. I don't know. That's not what's important. What's important is Planetary Goose actually had a good start, unlike their teammate Speed, who wound up balking early. So Goose looking to try and hold down to the draw by staying out in front. That said, this Restless squad, they are right with them. There are 3 front runners looking very evenly matched in the first half of this track.
Yeah, that is indeed true, and we see Svet gives us the best perspective of everybody in front, but Planetary Goose, Winky, and Red Bolt are basically inseparable. Ooh, Planetary Goose gets a clip, but does survive it. It's not a very detrimental clip if you get it there, but they are really... Ooh, Red Bolt is the first one to really, truly fumble. And it will be Winky and Planetary Goose. Planetary Goose will have more speed, but I think he has the line as well, and he does get it as well. And with Svet overtaking Red Bolt, ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a thriller already based on that first round, and that's gonna be a fun time if that's gonna continue.
Okay, thank you for the lore drop as well, Iridium. I needed that. I had no idea that New Zealand had the laser kiwi proposed as their national flag, and I kind of wish they accepted it because that is way better than anything that they have. Either way, you know what? Shout out to Planetary Goose for trying to rock the better flag. But also, shame on Planetary Goose for having a little hiccup right there going through the 3rd checkpoint. Still, it's looking pretty good for Steak and Cheese. If Speed can hold on to P1, they'll at least get that draw, hold on to the lead. But I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. Red Bull giving us our best view in this situation, just kind of watching Winky Face and Speed go toe-to-toe. And a little bit of mistake, Speed got wobbly, and that could cost the round win.
Yeah, well, he is unable to really catch up. Of course, if Winky goes a bit too risky in the end, which he does not seem to be, Winky is on a tear at the moment. Very good rounds times in a row at the moment. Nothing majorly fantastic, but it is quick. And it's quick enough to secure a victory now this time for Restless Black, which is exactly Well, brings us back to even Stevens, 3-3 on the board, and nothing to really separate the two at the moment. So this is exactly what we saw in the group stages between these two as well. They went back and forth quite a bit as well, and it just comes down to one of these drivers making one little mistake, and it can swing the other way rather quickly. But it's good to see that they are up to the task, and definitely not going to allow the pride of either Australia or New Zealand to fall that easily, as with steak and cheese at the moment cooking up in front. It is Restless Black to keep chasing down the two members.
And it should be worth noting, this was the 5th round when they played against each other last week. This was the deciding track, which did see Restless Black come out on top. So with Steak and Cheese in position for an ace right now, this would be kind of an amazing break for them. However, Planetary Goose just did not have the speed coming through the final checkpoints. Even Speed is in potential to get sniped at the end. Winky Face goes for it, but winds up just 27 thousandths short.
Ooh, that is as close as you're gonna get. It is a bit of a treacherous end in that regard. You get a lot of speed, but it swings you wide, and you saw the difference. Winky almost was able to get it with the more inside line. Much better setup to get towards the finish line, a lot better, but it is 4-4 on the board, and they are definitely not holding back the punches here. They are here to win. They're here to go the distance, and it shows that they are ready to rock and roll. Sved is ready to clip that corner there. It has gotten a lot of people. It's somewhat hard to see on occasions as well. It is a black border with a black border, so it can be a bit treacherous to see at occasions, so it gets a bit of a fumble there. But it has. Planetary Goose last time was able to get things going, so can he do it again? Ooh, Red Bolt gets a clip as well, so Planetary Goose could actually get a draw out of this.
They've got a bit of speed right now. Winky Face very much on the line, though, but is able to hold that speed. They got a little bit too high on the sausage curve, though. Still, they recover with a beautiful slide, and that's going to be enough to give Restless the round win again. Under a 1/10 of a second between first and second. That's been the case for the past 3 rounds, but Restless continue to hold out in front. 6-5 lead for the team in blue, and every single time they've won a round, Steak and Cheese has responded, so still not even close to being finished yet. Let's see if Steak and Cheese can equalize once more.
Yeah, this is what good racing is all about. Till the end, we don't know anything what is going to happen, and we get to see a good rounds galore, and that is what we're here for as well. Restless Black and Steak and Cheese are delivering on a platter here. Currently, both teams are trying to push each other to the limits. Planetary Goose has to release a bit. Was gonna go into that wall that has gotten many players before, but Sved is in the wings. Everybody's neck and neck. There's basically a 10th separating everybody after this section, so nothing really go. It comes down to the final drink. Winky has more speed. Planetary Goose is in there as well. Sved has a bit of a fumble, so has Red Bolt, but it is Restless Black who still holds on somehow. I don't know what the hell is going on towards the end. Sved almost had a chance, but he made a similar mistake to Red Bolt, and was also could have been a draw, but still Restless Black, you know, it is their track pick, but it is a hell of a battle to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, again, they are 1 round away from winning, but I feel like Steak and Cheese still's got a bit more in the tank, and in particular, Speed, if they can just kind of nail that ending, they're very much still in it. So we'll see how this next round goes for the Kiwis. Back against the wall. At the moment, Speed is the one out in front, however, and looking pretty good. Times very similar to the last round, both in terms of pace and in sort of, you know, distance between them. Red Bolt is the one falling a little bit behind, although Speed gets a little bit squirrely coming through these corners. Red Bolt clipped an edge. They don't lose that much speed, but it could cost them a top 3 finish unless Speed goes a bit too wide. They're going to have a lot of speed through these final sectors. There's a chance Steak and Cheese can get the ace here. Speed can sink the ending, but they bonk. At best, Steak and Cheese will get a draw. That's what they find, but now it's an ace to win.
Yeah, there's an ace or bust. It could have, that Sved almost had it, but I went a bit too much on the inside. Gets the clip, touches the wall there and allows for the draw, which puts now Steak and Cheese in a predicament. Ace or nothing. They have to get it done now, and I believe no team has truly aced one another. They've had either draws or victories, So to pull out an ace right now would be wondrous. But I gotta give credit where credit is due. Winky has been absolutely consistent as hell. Usually not his forte, but today he has wide arrived, and honestly, everybody has just brought it up a notch. Even from the group stages, you see the difference. Red Bull clips, so there is a possibility. Winky Face is the only one to hold off at the moment. If Planetary Goose and Svet can do anything about it here, but it's gonna be a rough battle because Winky has the best line ever, all the speed in the world.
Winky's going for a PB right now. Like, they've been about 2/10 faster than all their other times. That ending was a little bit rocky, but it doesn't matter. They'll come across with the 56.4. Enough for the draw, enough for the round win. Restless Black, they come out on top. A very close opening map. And again, if this is signs of how this series is going to progress, that was Restless's map. That was their map one, their statement. And Steak and Cheese brought them right to the edge. So this is why this series is going to be a close one. It's why I'm thinking we are going 7.
Yeah, we do move on to Shies, which I'm pretty sure Winky Face has zero empathy for whatsoever. I don't think he's going to have as much of a glorious time as he did on Simplicity. Well, I could be proven wrong. But when I was reading the in-game chat beforehand as well, Winky did not look very happy that he was going to have to play Shias, which he does have to play anyway, but he has to already do it now. So so we'll see how things go. I mean, they know these maps, of course, but it is a map that I believe they have been banning quite a bit as well. And but Steak and Cheese now can, deliver a Michelin star steak and cheese pie on this track against Restless Black, and that would be quite glorious for them.
What is a Michelin star steak and cheese pie? Like, don't get me wrong, I've had my good pies now and then, but that's like, a Michelin star sausage roll or a Michelin, like, it doesn't, I don't know if that's possible. Winky Face definitely is not cooking up one this round, however, already having to respawn and kind of playing to the point you're talking about before, messing up just that second turn. It can put you so far back. In fact, Steak and Cheese, they are well out in front. Half a second on Red Bolt, looking very good for the probability of a round 1 ace.
Yeah, indeed. Chat, you have to now hold on with us as well. You have to now envision the map as well. We are moving on to the section here with the dirt. We are going into the plastic part here in a moment, moving on to the grass section where the wall ride is. Try to envision, close your eyes as Svet hits the pole there as well. Classic situation there as well. Yeah, they can now be, we are in, we are back. Hopefully it shows on the stream as well, but it is an average APAC round to start us off on Shias. Planetary Goose is first, Red Bolt is second, Svet is third, and Winky is nowhere to be seen, 17 seconds behind. I think that is a very relatable round on Shias for many players.
Look, I'm just going to say right there, Winky tried their best to pay off our producer to not show the embarrassment that was that first round. Didn't really work because we were able to catch them at the end. Sorry there, Winky. But yeah, Steak and Cheese gets the round win. Planetary Goose, the only one who really went through it clean. Good signs for Steak and Cheese. And for as strong Winky Face was in our first track, I kind of feel like Planetary Goose was constantly right behind them. And if this is a track where Winky might struggle, I kind of expect some big things from Planetary Goose here.
Yeah, you would expect that as well, but Svet is the one that at the moment is finding a bit of a struggle as well, and he's going to enjoy that. Actually gets the 4th gear. I was expecting him to just jumble 3rd and 4th in that section, but at least that is over quickly. But for the time being, Planetary Goose will have a good time here. I don't think he really needs to push much. Red Bolt and Winky are the ones that have to do the pushing, because they're the ones that don't really feel quite comfortable, but they are, well, as I said, Red Bolt hits the wall, so case proven right there. So they are the ones that have to be pushing. I think Planetary Goose doesn't really have to risk it fully and just has to drive clean, and I think they will Steak and Cheese will be more than fine.
I mean, you say that, but I'm still seeing some pretty risky lines just right on that apex. You can see, but maybe a little bit too tight because Winky's going to get the snipe, and all of a sudden, Restless are on pace to equalize. Red Bull does beat out Swede, and we're tied 3-all.
Holy moly. Well, it seems that the Planetary Goose and Svet, being happy to finally play this track, it's not really starting off that well, but it only can get better from here, So, and it's only a matter of time until Winky Face just absolutely gets frustrated by the track and just absolutely has a fit and despair moment. But you still have to, get to the finish in the end. Of course, it's still Restless Black that they're going up against. They are mostly pace is what they're known for as well. So you cannot really let go of it. I did say you can be a lot more safer, but if Winky and Red Bolt are gonna have, are gonna be constantly up in front, it does put Sled and Planetary Cruise in a situation where they're like, oh, yeah, maybe we do have to, press the gas pedal a bit more to the floor.
Sved's got a very good run right now, but then kind of loses it on that last transition. So if anyone's going to snipe Winky Face, it's got to be the Goose, and they may have just done it there. So much speed through these final turns. This time they don't catch the edge. It's Winky who bonks an ace for Steak and Cheese, and they're back out in front by 3.
Well, I guess normality ensues once more, but it's yeah, it is probably one of the most difficult tracks to nail down constantly, because you can even see, that when you look at the times that they're driving as well at the moment, they are not like, close to min world record pace as well. They are somewhat like a second off as well. It's very hard to get this track down like to a T every single round, because it just throws you off in so many spots, especially with the reactor grass and the plastic sections here, right? This spot already here as well, if you don't go take it fully tight here as well to the maximum ability, you lose speed, you lose time. Same with the outside turrets everywhere. It's just constantly time is getting bled. But for the time being, it is the Svet who hits the wall, giving at the moment a draw position.
Yeah, Planetary Goose, though, still out in front. And that's a big respawn from Winky. Sved may have caught a little bit at the hole, but it doesn't matter because Red Bull bonks as well. Steak and Cheese in position for an ace. What has happened to Restless? They were in such a good spot this round. They kind of let it all slip. So Planetary Goose, another 59.2, back-to-back with that timeline. But the bigger story is the ace. Steak and Cheese 1 point away from taking our second map.
Indeed, it is. I mean, now they just have to finish a round, They just have to get one round where they just get one of the players into the top 2 and job's done. And you have one track point, which was expected on this track. So far, everything has gone, well, somewhat according to plan. I don't think Restless Black did expect such opposition on the first track. But that is something that they have to live with, but they still got the track point, so that is what matters in the end anyway. But for the time being, Steak and Cheese at least get to enjoy a comfortable time getting a track point, and should be all good. As we can see, they are up in front, so well, technically could still go swinging about, but it is this section that usually just makes the difference. And Red Bull.
Oh, yeah, Red Bolt's gone. Winky Face still up with Planetary Goose, who is on pace for another 59.2, actually. Coming through these checkpoints, Winky goes wide, a little too wide. Sved's going to be able to get around. Now, this corner has been problems before, but it's not problems when it matters most. Planetary Goose at 58.7, so finally got under that 59 mark. Very nice final couple checkpoints. Enough for the ace, enough for the round win. Steak and Cheese tying us up, Kriidy, and yep, back and forth as we expected between these two teams.
Yep, indeed, as Winky Face would say, holy moly. Holy moly indeed. But we go on to the next track on the chopping board. Now, this is where things will start to get interesting, because the further down the line we go, the more, the more you go away from your usual favorite picks. And we move on to, of course, 3-piece, which it is Restless pick. But I feel like which Winky Face loves to do the no slide in the end. You saw it constantly. Whether they will be able to do this, whether they will be able to do good rounds here is yet to be seen. But it's one of those tracks where they're both quite equal, to be honest. It is swings a bit in the favor of Restless Black, but only on average by 0.08 of a second. So it's a very subtle average lead.
That was I was watching Sved in the warm-up, and it's got me thinking, is that a shortcut tech we're going to see there? Obviously not, because you'd have no speed at a pivotal point, but still fun to watch players, how they explore these maps, how they try and discover things. The big discovery right now, though, would be, can Steak and Cheese discover a way to get a break point on Restless here? As at the start, it's actually Red Bolt who runs into some troubles already. a little bit behind. Granted, this track I think it'll be determined at the end, but Speed gets a little off balance as well. So all of a sudden it's going to be between Winky Face and Planetary Goose. Where have we heard that before? Red Bolt, not the cleanest landing. Speed, though, still a little bit further behind. And for round one right now, between Winky and Planetary Goose, could still go either way. Goose somehow recovered that.
Oh, yeah, that is indeed. He keeps it clean. The outside turns immaculate. Planetary Goose up in front, and it will come down to the end between these two, it seems. Planetary Goose with a much better line, and I think that setup will be done unless Winky Face can pull out a nice nose slide. He goes and he gets it as well. That's the difference. In the end, if you get it absolutely crisp and clean, you can overtake in the end. Planetary Goose went so wide that Winky Face just went like, thank you very much, I'll just slot in there. And that is a nice victory for our team.
I mean, first of all, Planetary Goose and Winky Face were never more than like 2/10 apart. They're going to be a little bit different this time around. Winky Face early balk, and Red Bolt gets caught, so Snake and Cheese now in position for the ace. But to go back to that last round, yeah, Winky Face showing, you know, people are calling it the quantum slide in the chat. I kind of have to agree right there. Fantastic stuff. If they're going to do it again, they need to make up about 7/10. Planetary Goose so far out in front right now. So Snake and Cheese should be looking to equalize. Red Bolt, though, some issues, unfortunately. That could be problematic. Now, Speed had issues at this part of the track as well that last round, so Winky Face still might be able to prevent the ace if they can come through at the end. Eyes on this battle for second as Goose is too far out in front. Winky Face looking. They have the speed. Do they get the slide? Not quite this time. Speed holds on, and Planetary Goose helps get the ace.
Yeah, that is perfect situation for Steak and Cheese on this track of all things as well. You know, that is what you love to see. I mean, that is the pinnacle of between these two teams. It's always a joy to watch these two battle each other. You know, you can always expect a wild match, and this one is no different from their previous encounters. Now, the question is, who will come on top this time around? At least for now, Red Bolt will be out of contention, well, unless something happens up in front. But it is Winky Face who has to, again, take the helm and has to get first position just to stay in touching distance of Steak and Cheese, because you don't really want that gap to go too far, because if they get a victory here now, it will bloom to 3 points, and that's going to be rather difficult to catch up if Red Bolt is not going to have a good time. But Winky is doing everything in his power to avoid that situation.
I mean, Planetary Goose was looking very squirrely. The super tight line from Winky to maintain that lead. About a car length out in front coming into the ending, and we know this is Winky's strong suit. Beautiful across the line. They actually made about a 10.5 at the very end right there. So Winky will get the draw as Red Bolt never was able to catch back up. 5-3, Steak and Cheese holding on to that 2-point lead. Again, though, this is Restless's map, Kriidy. They're still down. Steak and Cheese, they're looking consistent. We need Red Bolt to finish up there with the front of the pack.
Yeah, he needs to get involved a bit more as well. But we've always seen this as well. Red Bolt and Winky dynamic as well. We've always seen that Winky's the one to set the pace as well, and Red Bolt is there to, you know, clean up the scraps. He definitely has the pace as well, but, you know, definitely not quite up to the same level as Winky does. But as long as he can keep driving clean, that is what absolutely matters as well. But of course, but as I say that, Winky, as soon as he touches Sved, also is a bit of a, you know, Red Bolt is getting up there. Of course, it's the round where Winky doesn't have the best time of it when Red Bolt actually wide arrives, but Red Bolt can still do damage. Goes a bit wide. We'll have a better setup here. Maybe he can overtake Sved here, maybe avoid the ace here. Goes for it, very nice. Doesn't go for the nose slide, so holds out.
No!
Doesn't give the ace quite yet there. So it is a 4-7 on the board.
Yeah, it was close. It was very close to the ace, and, well, at this stage, an ace will end it. However, I don't think we see Winky make the same mistake twice either way. Pressure on Restless White right now to keep themselves in that running. Winky goes super low, should have the most speed coming out into the grass, and they absolutely do, taking that P1 position. Unfortunately, Red Bolt has once again kind of fallen behind. The start of these rounds just not been favoring the gold car driver as Winky Face tries to go on the outside. A big awkward landing from Speed. Should open the doorway. Red Bolt's going to try to come their way through. Winky Face, though, still holding on. We're looking at a pretty fast time here, Kriidy. It's the next checkpoint I've really been following. What times are we looking at? 39.9. Oh, this is going to be a fast one coming down to the line.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick one. Winky is now up in front. If Red Bull can overtake here, that would be solid as well. Planetary Goose goes really wide, but still gets in. Red Bull overtakes Sved. Winky will be first. Can Planetary Goose hold on? He can indeed, but it is a victory. But if you are a first-grade mathematician, you can do the math that if this keeps happening, we can go into overtime. So, you know, get your calculators out, use your fingers. If 2 more victory rounds, it will be 10-10 and we'll go into overtime. You know, it is definitely still possible. So not all is lost, but they still have to perform. Ace would be absolutely splendid, but 2 victories will also
and Ace just makes it, you know, that much easier for them. At the moment, though, it is Planetary Goose kind of holding down the fort out in front, but once again, Goose and Winky toe-to-toe. Same can be said about Red Bull and Speed, although each team kind of having a bit of advantage. We're currently sitting in a draw right now, but Winky just lost a lot of pace right there, and now if Speed can just hold on, they're going to win this round. Steak and Cheese in such a good position. Red Bull has to make up so much ground. I don't think it's happening. If anything, we're going to see the ace. Planetary Goose gets a little wobbly, but not wobbly enough. Steak and Cheese win the round, win the track, and are now up 2-1.
Yeah, it was Red Bull finally got into the groove of it, but then I feel like Winky just gave a bit of that energy to Red Bull, but then forgot that he also has to, you know, get the job done, and ends up being in a bit of a predicament. We move on to Agartha, and this was the track that they are quite literally almost even as well. Like I said, these 2 teams are quite inseparable on a lot of these tracks, and Agartha is again one of them. So the only real outliers when you compare their times is Shiaz and Candy Crush. Of everything else, basically, Waiting as well is one of them, I guess, one of the 3 teams. The rest, you cannot even cut through their times with a knife. So that's a proper comparison between these 2, and I'm looking forward to it. I always enjoy watching this map because I drove it. I drove the worst version of it because this is an updated version of this track. I wish we had this one, but you know, I can't. I can only dream of that, I guess now.
Where was the update? Out of curiosity.
The update is in the after the plastic wall ride. Yeah. Instead of having your standard, you know, the checkpoint that has the black, pylons on the side, it is now a gate. But with the pylon, you had to swing a lot more right because you had to go around the checkpoint, you know, the pillars you see as well, you know. So you had to, we had to go around, and it loses you like 2/10. To some extent, because you have to go around. They will just go straight here. You will see in just a moment as well. After the plastic wall ride, they have a gate, but we had on the Baltic competition, we just had a regular checkpoint, the ground one. Yeah, you can see they just go straight here. We had to go around the black part there, and it lost us a fair bit of time and speed.
Red Bull kind of just turned themselves into a wall, but so did Speed a little bit later. So Winky and Planetary Goose will drag race to the line. Couple car lengths ahead. Winky will come across P1. So the round win goes to Restless White. And, well, Steak and Cheese broke the last map. Restless White looking to do the same here. Off to a good start.
Yeah, it is good to see. Good stuff by both teams. Nothing really major quite went wrong for everybody, but it is enough that Restless Black, you know, are able to hold the front and get a victory on the board, and that is exactly what they need. They need to get the track points on the board, you know. To some extent, we would expect them to go 2-2. Maybe not the way that we expected them to do so, as Red Bull does touch the outside third right before this section. Does make the jump at least. But Planetary Goose as ice is going to be absolutely in the mud. But hey, there's the mud.
Yeah.
There's the mud. Closest the gear. And there you go. I'll be the same.
They had problems on the ice last round as well, Planetary Goose. So struggling a little bit with that turn right now. Push the pressure on Speed to try and compete with Winky Phase. A good wall ride, though. Gets Speed back out in front. That was a near immaculate wall ride from the Kiwi driver. And now looking to hold on to the lead to possibly save a draw. Winky Face just kind of slipping further and further back, actually. Planetary Goose, though, had some major problems jumping over the wall, so they are completely out of this one. It will be a draw. Steak and Cheese stay within 1.
Yeah, but Sven was really playing with that inside wall when he went into that final drift. He was so close to touching, and he would have given away an ace there then. So it is worth the risk to get it done, but you gotta be
Yeah,
careful.
you
I've
drive
seen so
risky.
many times where people take that inside turn too much or let the drift go too early. Either you fly too much
Oh,
to the right, as
whoa!
Red Bull is absolutely out of it. If you have a bad lineup, you can hit that corner quite easily. So he's gonna have a wonderful time in that outside third. So Winky has to hold out and get a minimum of draw, or at least put steak and cheese equal. He cannot allow an ace, but with that
Oh,
ice, that is not looking hunky dory.
that's a little bit awkward right there. The Kiwis again out in front, and they're going to be looking to pull away with this one. All they need is to clean wall right, and I think they're going to be able to kind of lock this one down. Speed's wall right this time around, not quite as nice as it was before, and Winky actually should be gaining a bit of speed right now through these last couple checkpoints. I do worry, though, they're a bit too far back, and if anything, they're actually losing ground right now. So it will be an ace for Steak and Cheese. That'll put them up 5-3 in a pretty pivotal map, and I'm a little bit surprised at how this has gone so far here, Kriidy. Steak and Cheese, they're just looking a bit more composed.
They are looking they're looking to have a great time here indeed. I mean, Bayback rejoices as a New Zealander himself, you know, seeing Steak and Cheese do well against an Aussie. That's probably their wet dream. But regardless of that, it is something that we have to commend as well. Steak and Cheese, you know, always have had a bit of a struggle sometimes against Winky Face, and Winky Face at the moment having a struggle on the track as well. So that is a rough time as well. But you know, honestly, I'm kind of rooting still for Restless Black, because otherwise my pick can turn off. But you know, that's besides the point. But you know, slight bias, but that's because of Pickett.
I mean, I actually probably would have picked Steak and Cheese on this one just because, as someone, as a neutral party who lives in Australia, despite my Australian citizenship, New Zealand always seems to beat Australia. They just, no matter what sport or event it is, New Zealand just seems to get Australia's number. So, not too surprising to see that be the case again right here. However, maybe speaking a little bit too soon, Red Bull will cross the line P1, Planetary Goose right behind, but it will be a round win for Restless to bring them back within one.
Yeah, and the first round where Red Bull has won. You know, so props to him. He's getting into it now. Winky, you don't have to impersonate your teammate from the previous maps. You can go fast. There's no need for like, oh, okay, it's now my turn to be the slower teammate of the two, you know. Well, technically, at some point, even if the two fastest players, if they were to drive in a team, one of them is going to be the slower one. So, you know, I guess that works out in a way. But Winky he can speed up as well. But Planetary Goose and Svet definitely putting the hurt against Restless Black here.
And they are putting it through, although Winky right now gets more of that inside line, so maybe they'll be able to hold it. Planetary Goose has a little bit of speed, but not quite enough speed as well, just on that outside, looking for a way possibly to get in there. Planetary Goose, a much tighter line, gets into the wall right and has a better exit as well. So does Speed, actually. Winky Face, though, a little bit deeper and nails the landing where Planetary Goose falls apart. Speed, though, a little bit tighter. Actually, is going to retake that P1 spot. Winky Face, though, on the inside gets a much better final turn to the line. It's going to be a drag race. Speed gets the snipe by 11 thousandths.
Holy moly, Winky, I prefer the line that Winky does, but he drifted a bit too much and he didn't have as much speed. In my opinion, the line that Winky Face does is the optimal line. Svet, if you go wide and get the speed, it doesn't usually work that way, but Winky Face drifted a bit too much and allowed the window of opportunity that Svet is more than happy to take and put 6-8 on the board, and Steak and Cheese on a course to go 3-1 up against the Restless Black.
Be a bit of a shocker, but again, this is Steak and Cheese's map, so the expectation would be them to win it. Restless, they needed to get a breakpoint map, and they're going to have to wait, I believe, until waiting for that opportunity, assuming they can even get there. But for now, this last map, it's gone belly side up through our first couple checkpoints. Steak and Cheese pulling further and further away. Speed and Goose just need to keep it clean. They only need the round win, and I think Speed's going to get just that. Planetary Goose does drop back, but Red Bolt is so far back, unless there's an egregious mistake, they will not get there in time. Just 1 checkpoint to go as we make our way into that final turn. If Planetary Goose nails it, which he does, it's looking good. Speed P1, Goose P3, and Steak and Cheese are 1 track away.
Yep, and now it means that Restless Black have to win every single map from now on, and there is no other choice in this case. They have to take this as it is. So no second chances now, and quite literally, because it is the quarterfinal. If Restless Black now lose Luminance, they will be out of the tournament. So there is no possibility of anything different or and such as well, and all of the things. So it's just gonna be it's just gonna be win or nothing else. Just win. It's that easy. Just win.
Yeah, just win. Why make it confusing? Why look elsewhere?
Yeah, why do you lose? Why do you make it complicated? Just win. It's not that difficult.
And we'll see if it comes together as we go into our warm up right now. I mean, pressure is definitely going to be on that Restless side though, because of the fact it's single elim. But they are on their own track, so I guess they should have some comfort in that on Luminescence. First time seeing Luminous the first time today as well, so that's nice. That's fun. And I'm actually surprised. I thought Min would have the record here, but no, it's Biowak who has the world record. So there you go.
Yeah.
Min, last time I was here, Min had the record. So good on you, Biowak, for taking it off.
Do you know when he got that world record?
Enlighten me.
It was 20 minutes before we went live today.
So there we go. That's why I was thrown off a bit. Very sneaky.
He got 20 minutes before we went live, or when we started the first match of the day. He got the world record on the track. So, so gets a bit of a screen time. Payback, you will be later on, but at least you get a bit of screen time already. But for the time being, this screen time on the moment is the fact that Winky Face is first, Planetary Goose is second, Svet is third, and Red Bolt is in the wall upside down. So it is most likely going to be a draw.
These cars need halos for how many times they flip. Either way, yeah, Winky Face definitely looking like they're going to hold on. Planetary Goose, very tight line. Everyone does nail the risky finish, and it will be Winky Face. Just, pretty good time. 7/10 off the world record. So we'll be very happy with that to start us off. It will be a draw, though, and Steak and Cheese stay very much in the hunt.
That is a good stuff, at least. It shows that maybe the previous map, Agartha, maybe Winky Face has the pace, but maybe not as consistent as you would love to. But on this track, at least, he seems to be a lot more comfortable, and hopefully Red Bolt can match it as well. At least looked a lot better on paper, everything considered. But this map, in my opinion, is one of those tracks that is on the easier side as well. Ooh. If you know what you're doing. Planetary Goose showing exactly how you're not supposed to do the track. But everybody needs a good example. You need sometimes a perfect example and sometimes what not to do. So take notes, chat. That is not how you want to take that transition. And hopefully Svet can do something, because otherwise Restless Black are just gonna casually go for an ace. That would be nice for them, wouldn't it?
I mean, it would be kind of necessary for them almost. I'm not even sure a round win kind of makes you comfortable, but Speed has the speed. A little bit too much, though, and they can't make the turn. So there's the ace you were looking for. All you have to do is nail the finish, and I don't even think they need to go risky with it. That said, they do. Both hit the gap, and it is now a 4-1 lead for Restless.
Yeah, it is a 4-1 lead. It is a map that once it flows really well. Like, this is a track that I would love to drive. I think it is one of Luminance is one of the better tracks in my opinion. It's if once you nail it, it feels so satisfying to drive. But we've seen a few examples of what happens when it doesn't flow well and you end up in the wall.
I think this was, I don't know, maybe I'm a weird one. I really enjoy Simplicity personally. Goose. Was that the same spot?
Strikes twice.
Was that the same spot, Goose?
Yep, it's the same spot. Lightning does indeed strike twice, and it seems it strikes twice in New Zealand, of all places, and it's the Goose that is the victim of it.
Yeah, unfortunate there. So once again, kind of a cruisy round for Restless. They're going to be up 7-1 all of a sudden. The infamous Brazil scoreline favoring the Restless side. And if you want to get back into a series, this is how you do it. They'll be in position to 4-round it. Red Bull even goes for the safe finish because they have that much time.
Yep, doesn't really need to do much there, you know, it's just, you know, cool, calm, collected. I think they saw the splits and all of a sudden saw that, why is Red 7 seconds behind? Wait a minute. You know, a quick realization of that is like, you know, a quick realization that you might not have to just, you know, fully send the end. So 7-1 on the board. If you're from Brazil, you might want to close your eyes. The running joke as well. As always, but you know, we're not in South America, we are in Asian Oceania, so I don't know if is there any equivalent of a 7-1 in Asia and Oceania like it is for Brazil? Anybody that have a clue of any kind? Maybe some weird wacky sports that you guys do in down under? You know,
like AFL would be more like, you know, 140 to 1 or something if something went terrible. So yeah, not quite that, but fair enough. As it stands right now, Restless again in position to draw, if nothing else. Winky Face held on after Red Bull had a catastrophic start to this one. Planetary Goose would love the snipe to just try and get as many points as possible for the steak and cheese side. It's all going to come down to the end, and if Winky Face can nail the risky finish, it should be a Restless dub, as Speed had some troubles, and now Red Bull might be able to get themselves back in this one. You can see him in the distance. Winky Face does come across P1. Speed going for the safe finish, actually loses out by 0.3, and now Restless White is 1 point away.
He knew he didn't have the speed for the risky, but had to go safe. But that safe finish takes quite a bit of time. That slow-mo, you know, you lose almost 4 seconds, and that it was exactly the distance that Red Bull needed to get back into it and gets the victory on the board. Is it deserved? Maybe not. But does it work for them? Absolutely so. And only now need 1 more point. Winky does his impression of Planetary Goose, and all of a sudden it is an ace on the board for Steak and Cheese if they can hold on to it, which they have not been doing the most marvelous job, but at least it's a position that they are in right now.
Look at the speed Red Bull has. Just made up a couple car links in 1 or 2 turns, and they are right behind Steak and Cheese. So kind of need a little bit close to perfection from the team in red. Steak and Cheese trying to hold on in speed. That's not perfection, Kriidy. That's the wall. And Red Bull just needs to hold station and will be enough for Restless to win this track. They do shoot the gap, and it is done. We're going to waiting.
Honestly, Red Bull had an absolutely killer end. That was probably as close as you can cut that end. Risky finish as well. So he gained almost 0.2, almost just almost overtook him in the end as well. But that is enough for Restless Black on their journey to put us into a situation where we might end up on map 7. But for the time being, we have to still keep on waiting for that map 7. So we'll see how things will go. This is going to be I will say the last 2 maps will be more of an uphill battle for Restless Black if we look at averages. But I can't remember how much they played or what were the scores from the previous. I would have to quickly whip out your classic Wikipedia in order to check that. Did they actually play one of these last 2 maps in their final match? So let me double check. They played Waiting, and Steak and Cheese won that 10-4. So take that with what you can.
Yeah, I mean, again, this was Steak and Cheese's map selection, right? So they kind of have, I guess, the momentum in their favor within that regards. And Speed, though,
the wall, you mean the momentum?
Yeah, I kind of just gave it back. Kind of give it back right there. You know, they didn't want the momentum. The momentum's heavy. You need to make your car a little bit lighter. Planetary Goose is going to try and take what they can with it and see how far they can go. Winky Face, currently the driver out in front. Red Bull about a half second behind, only kind of watching our 2 front runners here. And for Planetary Goose, they wanted the draw. Instead, they found the wall, and all of a sudden, Red Bull is going to be able to go around the outside. A chance for an ace to start things off if Red Bull can hold on. Speed has completely given up 3 response. Winky bonks! And that means Goose is going to have a chance to actually fight for the lead because they have caught up to Red Bull, but then they bonk! What is is going on, Kriidy?
Absolute mayhem. There's also a person in chat looking for Manscaped support as well, of all things. Absolute mayhem galore throughout everything right now. But somehow Restless Black get the victory out of this. From an absolute ace to despair to still a victory. Average APAC round.
Yeah, both in the chat and on the track right there. Restless going to come out on top. That was not, the strong finish that Steak and Cheese was looking for, or at least, the start to what would be the strong finish in this round as we go for, second round on this one, and a much cleaner start from all of our drivers so far. Again, Red Bull, never with the fastest start, but always will come through towards the end, getting through the first jump. Everyone looking pretty clean, although our first straggler is going to be Speed, as they didn't really get a clean dismount out of the dirt.
Yeah, indeed as well. It is going to be an interesting time. He falls again a bit behind, but at least Planetary Goose is up in front, fighting for those top spots. But it seems that Winky Face, well, I would say that he's waking up, but then somehow he just fell asleep in this section. I don't know. I didn't see the exact perspective from his point of view, but at the moment he's fighting Planetary Goose and has a much better line towards this and more speed, more momentum. And that is going to be another victory for Restless Black. And I don't know, man. It's looking a bit hairy. That 3-1 lead is very quickly melting away for Steak and Cheese. Maybe they've left that pie in the oven for too long and forgot about it. And now they actually are like, oh no. Oh well, Winky hits the corner there, so maybe they have a chance actually.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a better round for the Steak and Cheese side after that initial start, because again, Red Bull just not the same pace as the others through our first two checkpoints. Granted, we haven't seen Speed really get a clean run yet on waiting, been waiting for it. This would be a good time, as they are the one out in front. Planetary Goose having to hold down P2 for as long as possible. As we make our way through, Speed a little bit too wide in that corner. It's going to be Goose with the momentum into the latter half of the track. Only a couple checkpoints left, and it's looking very good for the two Kiwis here. Red Bull just never able to make up that ground unless there's a catastrophic mistake at the end. It's going to be an ace for Steak and Cheese, and they're going to retake the lead.
Yep. That is the fun part of the 2v2s. It looks all absolutely glorious, and then you get aced, and all of a sudden you're behind. A classic is what it is, You feel all uncomfortable, and then everything gets turned upside down. But hey, you can look at it the other way. Restless Black last time, they got only 4 points on this track against Steak and Cheese, so they've already matched that. So improvement, positives to be taken already. Maybe they can up that point tally as well, as Sved again has a bit of an awkward setup for that third. Planetary Goose has a bit of a pixel clip as well. Are we gonna see a returning ace, or will Sved be able to hold out the front here? Well, at the moment at least, looks to be the case, but anything can change on a dime.
I am very disappointed in my dyslexia. Either way, Red Bull, it's going to try to get ahead of Sved right now, making a couple quarters towards the tail end of it all, but it looks like Red Bull might have had it. Although they went a little bit wide, they get a very nice exit. Sved runs into some troubles, and there you go. Ace on the card, stick the ending, and it is yours. Restless retake the lead.
What you can do, we can do better. And 7-5 on the board. Track point for Restless Black. They are one ace away from taking us to map number 7. And could be at least, if this drags on, maybe, we might actually have... Oh, no. That is not the start you want. Planetary Goose is absolutely out of it. It's all up to Sved. He has to get something out of this. And if he has one mistake, Red Bull can overtake, get the ace, and take us to map number 7. At least so far, it's looking exactly the same carbon copy from the previous round. But can Sved do anything here? It's looking rather dire for Steak and Cheese. I feel like they have lost the lead, the momentum, and Restless Black are taking every bit of advantage of it as Sved is struggling to keep up.
Yeah, this is looking very dire as Sved went for such a crazy line right there. It's enough to hold on to P2, and that could actually be enough to maybe get them into sort of that do or die final round. Sven actually snipes the ace, and there was a mistake from Red Bolt. They do recover before Planetary Goose can get there. That almost went terribly for Restless at the end. They'll have to settle for a draw, but now Steak and Cheese, they're very much alive. An ace or even a round win will make things very interesting.
Chat, I have a very important question for you. This is what you are good at. Is it Sved, type 1, or is it Swede, type 2? Take it away, chat.
It's Sven, right? Because it's the D before the E.
It's Sved.
Yeah, it's Sven.
Thank you.
Yeah, I acknowledged I was wrong before.
I believe you said Swede on a few occasions,
I
but
did,
I could be just having a bit of a moment of lapse in judgment.
I can't read. I thought it was SVED. I was just straight up like having a dyslexic moment there. Like that's not what that was.
The more you know. But for the time being, the more we know is the fact that Steak and Cheese are trying to get back into it, but it's a close round. Winky Face is doing everything in his power to get Planetary Goose. Sved has respawned as well, so Winky Face, if he overtakes Planetary Goose in the end, not quite able to do so. Close though, but it is a draw. And now, ace or map 7. Either you win the track and the match with an ace, or you go to map 7.
Here we go. Sved has to have a clean run here. We'll see if it plays it out. Planetary Goose looking pretty good. Again, Red Bolt, that high line. It's safer, but it's not the fastest. It puts the pressure on Winky Face to try to get out in front for Steak and Cheese. This is actually a really good start because Red Bolt has wound up bonking. So if they could just keep ahead of Winky, all of a sudden, this could be their round to win. No, Sven hits the wall, and I think with that goes any hopes for the ace in this one.
Yeah, it looked so glorious, the perfect setup, and then Sved hits the wall. Planetary Goose cannot figure out if he wants to turn left or right, and Winky Face is first, and that's that. That is all she wrote, and without a doubt, we are going to map 7. It wouldn't be a series between these two teams if we don't have to decide it on the last map. Somehow Winky Face does make that finish. I thought he was going to fly out, I'm going to be honest.
Same.
But he still makes it. Sved showing that you can cut the end if you really want to. It's not faster, but it, you know, you can do it, I guess. But map 7, here we go. Candy Crush. Who will have the sweet victory on it, Max? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm still leaning on Steak and Cheese, despite the fact it feels like momentum might be slipping through their fingers. They definitely have that tenacity to keep things close. And again, when you look at, the past results on this track, it has been a slight advantage to them. However, Restless does have the momentum. Restless is coming off 2 big wins. They are the ones who kind of did just flip the selected map. So it could go either way. I'm also hungry, so I'm leaning on Steak and Cheese.
Well, maybe you have to stay a bit restless because you might not be able to catch a snack quite yet. But this track now will decide who will go into the semifinals. Whoever loses this is out of the tournament, and quite rightly, Winky Face. Holy moly, indeed. So, without further ado, who will take this final match? They have gone through thick and thin. Good luck to both teams. And may the best one win, as we see Red Bolt already having an interesting start. I don't know what he actually touched there, or just had a bit of a fumble there and let off the gas there for a moment. Regardless, well, he's completely now out of it. So all eyes on Winky to get first position, basically.
Yeah, but Winky's got a couple car lengths ahead, was the only one who came through these middle sections clean so far. Planetary Goose wants that tighter line, but this is where you could lose some of that momentum. Keeping it up high, though, they're actually going to find it right back, and all of a sudden, Planetary Goose gets a wheel out in front, at least momentarily, but then they bottle the landing on that later transition. So on pace for a draw at the moment. Red Bolt still too far back to really mix things up unless we see another mistake out of the Goose. Looking less and less likely with each checkpoint moving forward, though coming near towards the end, though. Winky Face looks like they should be able to hold on as Sved drops back into second and third.
Yeah, drops back as well. So if no mistakes in the end. Oh, he does! Makes a mistake, and Sved has to respawn. Red Bolt very smartly goes into the safe finish, hoping that somebody makes a mistake, and Sved misses the finish and gives away the point to Restless Black. I don't think I said the mentality is looking a bit shaky, and
Oh.
Sved, I think, is kind of feeling it now. I think the pressure is slightly gotten to him finally. He's not feeling as comfortable. These little things start to compound. And I know exactly from my own perspective as well, when things start to go wrong in these situations, Planetary Goose also falling behind, it gets to you. Even the best players can feel it. And at the moment, Red Bolt and Winky Face are doing a classic, pulling Australia's weight to get an ace on the board. Planetary Goose can only sit and watch and hope that something similar happens to what happened to Sved in the previous round.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the play right at this stage. But Sved, even in the last track, was having some issues, it felt like, especially towards the latter end of it also. Very disappointing to see for Steak and Cheese. Not the start they were looking for. Planetary Goose is going to try to snipe second. Can't quite get there in time. So an ace for Restless, halfway to winning our 7th track between these two rivals. And unless we see Sved get a clean run in sooner than later, I feel like Restless can run away with this one.
Yeah, and honestly, props to something else as well. Red Bolt has, the start looked rather shaky, but clearly he's gotten into it. He knows what he needs to do, and finally he's able to be in the pole for that round. As we move on to this perspective of Winky Face, the usual person who is in front. God forbid, you try to give a man a compliment, he decides, you know what, I'm just going to hit the pole. Take it or leave it. I don't want your compliments here.
Not only that, but Red Bolt's been doing something very interesting on this track. Is the only person I've been seeing taking this separate outside line. Don't even have a chance to show it off. Also, yes, I did see Winky Face bonk. This should be an ace for Steak and Cheese. We have a competitive track again, but I do want to follow Red Bolt at the start of the next round because the line that Red Bolt takes was why they had so much momentum through the middle part of the track. Winky Face actually back on Sved. If Sved can't nail the ending, we could see a snipe. Nope, not quite, although it was close. Winky Face actually bottled the ending a bit, so it's going to be an ace. Steak and Cheese back within one.
Well, if there's any time to get something going, also, yeah, very nice way to park your car. Very nice by Winky indeed. But regardless of that, if there's any time to get something going, and yeah, Red Bull goes for a wider line, but then comes in hot and swinging and has a lot of speed. I don't know if it actually works out. He's not able to really control that speed, to be honest.
Interesting, because so the last 2 rounds ago, when we saw Red Bull get all the momentum, they went the outside of that pillar, not the inside. But I guess, that's kind of the recovery line.
It depends, I guess, on the setup and how you are coming into it, I guess.
Yeah, interesting. Sved, by the way, still having some issues right there. Did bonk themselves out of this round. Planetary Goose, though, a couple car lengths ahead. Should be enough to hold on, assuming things go smooth for them. However, as we've learned, nothing goes smooth at the ending of this track, so we'll see how much candy the Goose has been eating. Winky Face staying right behind to capitalize on any mistakes. Actually catches a little bit of that hole right there. They won't have the speed for the risky finish, I don't think, and that opens the door for Sved to get a bit of a snipe, and all of a sudden Steak and Cheese has us tied.
Yeah, I don't know what the process of Winky Face is there. He loses the gear, loses the speed. One would put 1 and 2 together and say, I don't think I have enough speed to make the final shot. But man goes for it. Hey, I'll give him that, in that situation at least, it gives, respect where respect is given. I would have gone safe, but I'm not playing as well. But then again, I'm not 6-6 in a best of 7 and hoping to get into the semi-final of the AOPL. But, that's then and there, ifs and that's tomato, it's almost the same, in any regard.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just, a match against the prize pool, right? Like, that's all what this is. There is no prize pool for 5th, 6th. It's only for the top 4. Should be worth noting, and we're on pace to draw to make this one 7-7 because why not? Let's get it as close as possible. Sved still in the back. Going to be looking for a late snipe. We'll see if they'll get a chance between Winky Face and Red Bolt if they can come across the finish clean. Planetary Goose, though, has been running away with these past couple rounds. Will cross cleanly in the end. We're going to be tied 7-all, and Ace advances you to the semifinals.
Holy moly! In the track, well, at this point, it is track point, but it is match point. It is basically sudden death almost at this point. But currently, the sudden death is playing with aces. So who has the card in their decks? Who's the first one to falter here? And what a very strong start for Restless Black to start off. Definitely taking the helm. They need the ace. Winky has to let go of it. Goes a bit wider, so has to give away the
Oh,
position
Goose.
to Planetary Goose instead. Ooh, bit wobbly there. Red Bolt also. Somehow they're all staying alive. Red Bolt
Oh, goodbye.
definitely not staying alive. Yeah, that's a good wave goodbye right there. Just gets chucked around and can't do anything about it. But Winky Face now has to get first position to at least, keep everything drawn and level. He's on a very good pace as well to do so. Planetary Goose and Sved are also falling a bit behind. So Winky Face, just, don't do anything stupid and you should be fine.
Sved got a little bit squirrely on that hole. Still has enough speed for the risky finish. Everyone comes across clean. We got another draw. 8-all. Someone in the chat was calling for overtime. I mean, that's still on the cards. We could draw our way there, but it has to be draws because all you need to do is win this round, Kriidy, and you are through. It's a money round if either team can put it away.
Yep, that is going to be it. It's now victory or ace that will win you the match. And wait, was that Winky at the moment? Yeah, Winky is fallen a fair bit behind, so it's up to Red Bull. Red Bull has touched the wall. Planetary Goose and Sved are on a position to go for the ace. Planetary Goose hits the wall as well. Red Bull overtakes him at the moment. Winky Face is also overtaken. We're somehow still in a draw position.
Oh my goodness, Planetary Goose, who has been that consistent member of Steak and Cheese, that was not the time for your mistake. And now the pressure on Sved, who has been the shakiest member here so far, but they can hold on to keep Steak and Cheese alive. That said, Red Bull has been gaining with each checkpoint. Sved has to keep it clean. They should have enough of a gap. Actually, Red Bull starting to fall back behind. Red Bull catches the hole. Planetary Goose still kind of out of it, but they are able to go into third. And that's how Steak and Cheese take it away. The Kiwis go to the semifinals.
What a way to end the quarterfinal of it as well. Absolutely insane. Well played to both the teams. Pick'ems are in the mud. Rest in peace, everybody, because I'm pretty sure at least half of the people picked Restless Black, half the people picked Steak and Cheese, so most of us are in the mud, me including. But GG, they gave us a hell of a thriller. That was absolutely amazing.
Let's compare our first two rounds, shall we? Let's just look how that plays out. Again, we already know who Trident are picking if they stick to what they said in the Twitch chat. Trident are going to be going for the two Red Devils, which means Steak and Cheese would be going up against Antic for our next two rounds. Whether or not that's going to be the case, we will see. But I mean, dude, I would not want to play against Steak and Cheese right now. The way how they bounced back, Sved had some rough moments in the latter half of that, still was able to come through, was still able to get into, that position to win that final round. Pretty crazy stuff.
Yep, that is indeed true, and with that as well, we will be delayed, of course, now a bit. Mm-hmm. I'm also running a bit on the clock, so people, I need to play a TCC after this, a Trackmania Seasonal Country Championship.
When does that start?
My match starts exactly when this day ends. So if you could, guys, do a 4-0, 2 matches in a row, get us back in schedule, would much appreciate it. But that was still a banger of a match. We are going up against the Netherlands, so for those people who are curious, we're most likely are going to lose that match anyway, so no harm done. But would be nice to at least be with the team while we lose. But regardless of my delays, that was absolutely amazing. It could have gone either way at that point. Both teams deserved it. Sad they won't be able to play the rest of the tournament, at least Restless Black, but Steak and Cheese delivered.
That they delivered and then some. So look, we're going to go to a break real quick, give our players some time to relax, but we'll be back in about 6-7 minutes time to get us warmed up for these upper bracket semifinals. Don't go too far. We'll be back in just a few minutes.